We are in the Nauset Meeting Room of Orleans Town Hall. The meeting, if someone cares to join via Zoom, has a webinar ID of 895-8139-4023. We have one review on our agenda today. That is a continued review of the proposal by Preservation of Affordable Housing, Inc., Housing Assistance Corporation, and Habitat for Humanity for the former Governor Prince motel property at 66 Route 6A. As you all know, this is a proposed comprehensive permit project. Under comprehensive permit, an applicant is entitled to seek one single permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals and take into account any comments from other regulatory boards and committees. So what I'd like to do today is to go through the amended plans that were submitted, the changes that are included there. And it looks like we have some of the applicant's team on board, so maybe let them start us off with a summary of the changes. And then maybe this board can assemble some comments that we want to send forward to the ZBA. So with that, I'm looking at Dave Quinn online. Dave, are you the first person who wants to speak for the applicant?
Sure, I can do that. Good morning. David Quinn with Housing Assistance Corporation. We have our team here from POA, Charlie Durock from POA, Noreen Brown from Habitat for Humanity, Taria McGrail from Ty and Bond, and Paul Adaman from Union Studio Architects. And I think I'm probably just going to turn this directly over to Taria to walk through the updated plans that were submitted and some of the changes that were made based on our meeting last time.
Great, go ahead.
Thank you, David. Taria McGrail with Ty and Bond. I guess, is it easiest if I try to share the screen?
You should be able to.
Okay. Can you see the site plan, black and white site plan?
We cannot.
Sometimes it takes a minute to come up.
Okay, hang on. All right.
Something's coming up now.
Okay, great.
Yes, we can see it.
So in response to the comments that we heard during the last meeting, there was a couple things that came up that you were looking for more information on. The first was an addition or consideration on. The first was the addition of a second dumpster area. So the plan that's here before you, we've added a second area for dumpster containers. In this location, we're looking at those containers being smaller containers on wheels so that they can be pushed out and picked up by the trash collection vehicle. So that's located just to the right-hand side of Building 2 in this area here. So that dumpster facility will be enclosed with a fence and a gate, and that will be easily accessible for tenants living in building number 2. We also have clarification on some of the intended trash pickup methodology. The Habitat buildings 5 through 11, will have their own trash collection in place and bringing it over to Orleans. And then the dumpster units will be primarily for tenants in buildings 1 and 2. And then similarly to Habitat at buildings 3 and 4, each of these building tenants will have their own storage area located in close vicinity of their building unit. So that was the larger change to the layout material plans, was the addition of this dumpster area. The other item that was requested was a fire access swept path analysis plan. So this plan has been submitted now. In red here is the fire truck swept path tire locations. This vehicle is the Pierce Ascendant 100-foot tower truck. And it's our understanding that this is going to be a truck that's going to be used in the town of Orleans in the next coming years. So that was submitted And then we had also made some changes to the utility plan. I don't have that up on the screen, but we made some changes to better clarify that there will be fire water service going to buildings 3 and 4. And we also changed some of the notes on the pipe material selection. And all of that will be further defined and designed as we move into construction docs. But I think that's a summary of the plan changes that were made to the civil site plans. If you have any questions.
So before we move on, Todd, have we all had a chance to see the utility plan change? I was wondering if you might bring that up just to satisfy us that those, on the utility plan changes that were made or proposed here. Do you have the ability to
Sure.
bring that plan up?
I do. Can you see it now?
You can.
Okay, so we're calling out for fire service for building 3. We changed the pipe material type for both buildings 3 and 4. So they both will now have a fire service going to them for sprinkler systems. And that's going to be further designed as we get into construction and we do flow testing out there.
Got it. Thank you very much. So for the board, why don't we start with that swing path study? Greg, if you had a chance to look at that revised plan?
Yeah, we did. It looks good. The only question I have is, was it mentioned at the dead end, did we mention any no parking verbiage or lines? Because usually on dead ends, we like to put lines that indicate no parking.
It's not indicated right now, but that's certainly something that we can meet with you and make sure that that's coordinated with your department.
Yeah, perfect. Everything else looks good. The NFPA Chapter 18 with 50 feet to entry doors, 250 feet to the back, first floor level. It all meets that code. So everything looks really good. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Greg. Why don't we just kind of go around the room and see if we have any other comments on the site plan before we start talking about the collective comments to make to the ZBA. Davis, I'll give you an opportunity first.
All right, thank you. Davis Walters, Building Commissioner. I think this is a very well-executed plan to this point, so I commend you guys for all the hard work. As is usually the case, I have a tendency to lean too far forward into building code issues while we're still here at site plan. My only question is sort of borderline, and that is that for the flat roof sections on the large building, will there be mechanical equipment located there? I think that's what I saw on the plan.
Hi, this is Paul from Union, Studio Architecture and Community Design Architect. I think, are you referring to building number 2
Yes.
and 1? So building 2, we have a concrete equipment pad to the upper left corner of the building number 2. Thanks, Taria. Right there to house the main mechanical equipment for building 2. I think we're looking to provide solar panels on the top of building 2, but because it's not it's a low pitched roof, it's not a traditional flat roof. And then building 1, we have mechanicals carved out of the pitched roof as a platform on the backside, facing the, let's say,
trail.
plan north toward the bike trail. Yes.
So those flat roof areas, my question is, are those, will those be perimeter drains like scuppers rather than an internal drain?
Yes, we'll be diverting all the water to gutters and downspouts that are outside the building. We don't
Okay.
intend to do internal. And access to that deck is through the attic. So
Okay.
there'll be an attic access hatch from the second floor up to the attic, and then a door to those platforms.
All right, so that was another question of mine, was you'll have scuttle holes to the attic spaces as per code minimums, and then there'll be a door from the attic area
Yes,
sort of framed
correct.
out onto the platform?
Yep.
Okay. All right, that was my only question related to the site.
Okay, thank you, Davis.
Thank you.
John, Janelle, do you have any comments from Conservation?
I don't think any new comments. I think initially I made some comments and more compliments to the planting plan, as there's no wetlands jurisdiction on the site, but it was a very nice planting plan. And I guess I'm acknowledging here that I don't see that has changed, including all the specs for the bioretention areas, so I don't have any new comments today.
Thank you, John. Water Superintendent Todd Bunzik, anything?
Yeah, when you come in the second driveway, if you will,
The one on the left on the plan?
yeah, and you tee off, when you're calling out an 8x6 ductile iron anchor tee, you need a gate valve there. So we can control that. And, any place where there's a hydrant, it would be an anchor tee and gate, and then the hydrant would be after that. So you're showing an inline gate just before the hydrants. The gates would be part of the anchor tee. So on all three of the hydrants you have, it would be an anchor tee and gate. Also, I just wanted to mention once again that any of the work that's being done out in the state highway is going to require a state road opening permit. So you can get one permit, but it's going to be 2 sites. So your engineers are going to have to figure out the station numbers and get information in, traffic plan and all that to the state. That comes through my office, so they need to go to my office to get that paperwork. All right?
Great.
That's
Thank you,
about
Todd.
it. Thanks.
Anything from the Health Department?
No, I appreciate the consideration of additional dumpsters, and I think I said this last meeting, this property is in phase 1 of the sewer project, so not much for me to comment.
Thank you, Meredith. Rich Waldo, DPW Director. Anything you'd like to add to this?
Well, first, I just want to state that I have not been part of this review. I'm actually filling in for this particular meeting for the Assistant Director. So forgive me if I duplicate some of the questions or requests that he's already asked. Let's just start with some of the stormwater stuff. If we can get a copy of the stormwater calculations, I'm not sure if those were submitted already. Looks like you have full containment on site, but I just would love to see the copy of them if we can. It looks like you had satisfied the request for the depth of all the drainage piping. I think that was a request that came in a previous meeting. I see the table there, so you met that. Todd had spoken about the need for a road opening permit, so I'm not going to duplicate that comment, but you do need the state road opening permit, but you also need a town trench permit, so just make note of that. Couple of the other questions that I had, and one might be for us as a committee, but could you answer me as to how many bedrooms this development would have? I know we have 78 units. I just don't know how many bedroom, if you had a bedroom count.
Yes, I can. I don't have that in front of me right now, but I can pull that up as we talk.
Okay. Well, the gist of that is really that it's going to lead to additional flow allocation that's going to be needed from the Board of Water Sewer Commissioners. So that's going to be another step in the process that is going to be needed. With that, I know some of the overarching requests that you have is for a waiver of fees. And I just want to get a good understanding. I mean, obviously, it doesn't pertain to this particular meeting, but what are the fees that you are looking for to get waived on both the water and the sewer end?
We'll have to huddle up and get back to you. Honestly, I didn't realize that we had submitted the request for that. Was that included in an application that we had submitted at some point?
I believe so. I believe at one point it might have been to the zoning board with a request, the waiver of fees. So there's many different types of fees, both on the water and sewer end, so I didn't know if you guys had identified which ones exactly. Happy to work with you guys to work through that, what that request is. But just when you go before the zoning board and, from my understanding, so I can even relay that to the Board of Water Sewer Commissioners, just want to know what you're looking for, and then we can make a recommendation to, the other boards and committees.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I would, I gotta say at this point, I hadn't anticipated asking for anything that's outside the box of a normal 40B application. So if there was some miscommunication there, I apologize. But we'll huddle up and get back to you with a firm answer for sure.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And then the last one for this committee, this group, planning, is, the town has done a lot of work downtown. The Main Street area, a little bit on the Route 6A area, where we've started to incorporate our sidewalks that have concrete sidewalks with a brick border. And, I know we've had another project that came through, Cape Cod 5. They did a project, they did a concrete sidewalk with a brick border. Didn't match the color, but I think at some point we're gonna wanna know what that consistency is. This particular project's pretty far offset from where the concrete is, but it should be a consideration if we want to start incorporating this into future developments along 6A, where we make a consistent corridor down the line. So-
Can I just, before putting the applicant on the spot, just kind of put that in the context that we've talked about for years. The town has a streetscape plan for the village center. It includes the whole village center district, which does include this parcel. It's at the far edge of the district, but it's still within it. And within that streetscape plan, there is a downtown sidewalk design that is a little more intense, involved, and a little more architectural in nature. But then the outskirts of the village center have exactly what you described, which was I think it's a sandstone-colored concrete with a brick edge along the curb line. And that's been installed in probably a half dozen locations in town, including a couple private properties in front of them. So this would be something that I think we should make a request to the ZBA in our comments to request that they continue that, so that over time, as the town gets redeveloped, we start to get that continuity of what the streetscape plan that ties the downtown together.
Okay, fantastic, thank you.
Let's put
Appreciate
that on the
answer.
comment list.
Yep.
Yeah.
Other than that, plan looks great, very thorough, great project, and thank you for your hard work.
George, I got
Go ahead, Greg. Sure.
I just feel like it's a good time to kind of plant the mustard seed. If we could schedule that meeting for talking about the no parking, striping, however we land on that. I also want to mention that for the two large buildings, a bidirectional amplifier needs to be part of the plan. And if we're going to have mechanicals on the roof, we need to talk about a standpipe possibly on the roof with that access, and then placement of the fire department connection. Just if we could plan a meeting that we could, meet with the chief and the deputy and kind of workflow that out, that'd be great.
Thank you, Greg. Is there any response that the applicant's team has on the sidewalk request before we move on to other things? Hearing none, we're going to move on. All right. So in anticipation of our meeting today, and knowing that we're a commenting board in this regard today for this application and not a permitting authority, I drafted a memo that we can, I'd like to discuss and see if the board is comfortable with sending this memo. And let me just highlight the points that we would send to the Zoning Board of Appeals, because they have the authority to make to make the approval decision on this application. So the first point I would make is the site appears to have been thoughtfully laid out to accommodate the units. Multiple driveways are advantageous for a project of this size, and that they are allowed under our town regulations based on property street frontage. The parking spaces are adequate for the development and exceed our minimum requirement. Emergency access has been evaluated and found to be sufficiently accommodated, including space for the newest fire response equipment that's on the way. Utility services are properly located. A landscaping plan is comprised of native species. That is a plus. Thank you, John, for identifying, going through that plan. The stormwater drainage is accommodated by sufficient infrastructure, including a bioretention areas, and the system is designed to accommodate the 100-year storm. That was a previous discussion we had, Rich, and the stormwater calcs have been submitted as part of the package.
Great, thank you.
Planned access to the rail trail will deter informal access which people would otherwise use and could lead to erosion and hazards. The property is connected to public sewer. All wastewater is removed and treated off-site. There was a incorrect article in the Chronicle that suggested this would have a septic system. The Governor Prince property will be on town sewer. The applicant has added the additional dumpster that was requested. And beyond this, I would add, the applicant will need to obtain state road opening permits and approval to install a sidewalk on state property. And that the site plan review committee requests that the applicant construct those sidewalks per the 2012 Village Center Streetscape Plan. I know that was a lot, and you have it in writing in front of you. Is there anything you want to correct on this or add to it?
Should we add, if I could, should we add to it? I mean, there was some omissions here on, I think what are called anchor tees, a couple of valves and stuff from the water department.
Are those at sort of permit level?
Yeah, we'll be fine.
I think, like, as I understand it, we're making recommendations under the 40B process, so we would then recommend they hear the comments of our final review, including the rooftop fire department access, which at standpipe, however, Greg can put a finer point on that, as well as the parking striping for no parking at the dead ends. In addition to the recommendation for the town sidewalk be consistent with the town streetscape plan, I think I heard that. And again, the missing valve stuff for waterworks.
So, John, can we wrap that up in a bullet that said we recommend that the applicant continue to work with fire, water, and water departments with regard to required infrastructure and code compliance?
I would say, what about the consistency of the sidewalk?
I've already captured that in a separate bullet. I mean, I'll put in here whatever you think is appropriate.
I don't know if I'm missing anything from listening to others around the
Yeah,
table.
please, anybody chime in as you need.
See, the only thing that was missing is one gate valve. The rest of it's just not shown correctly, that's all. So
Okay.
all the stuff is here, less one valve. So we were only talking about one 6-inch gate valve. Also, when we were talking earlier about the road opening permit, trench permit, the state requires the curb cut permit as well. And I have seen in the past where people get confused by that. They think they're getting what they're not getting.
Yeah, so let's call those out separately.
They're separate items.
Road opening permits and approval to install a sidewalk on town property, or state property.
Yeah, and, you know, like I said, if they don't have the curb cut permits already, if that's not already permitted, that would need to be done as well.
All right, so
George, the only one for me, it says the property will be connected to the public sewer system so that all wastewater will be removed off-site for treatment disposal. We just add a sentence, approval of additional flow allocation must be received by the Board of Water Sewer Commissioners.
What's that?
yes. And I believe the flow on this site was 0 for the 5-year record for the purposes of allocating flow back in
Yeah,
when
okay,
it was done for phase 1.
okay, great.
Okay. Anybody else, anything else?
George, I have one other thought, not at the risk of piling on at the end, but due to recent experience with the West Road project, we did run into a problem with site lighting, particularly with regard to location of the entryway signs. So given that this is a state road, I want to just remind our applicants that should attend to those details as much in advance as possible, both with regard to placement of the sign, ensuring that it's out of the road layout, and also for lighting, just that they're subject to lighting by law.
Right.
For dark sky and avoiding light pollution onto the highway.
Okay.
Thanks.
Well, that sounds like a fairly comprehensive set of comments. And these are comments the ZBA will do with what they want to. I'm sure they will defer to you, to staff on regulations. So is there a motion to submit this comment letter as discussed and amended?
So moved.
Thank you, Greg. Second?
Second.
Thanks. Anything further on this? Does the applicant have anything they want to share before we vote? Okay,
Nope.
thank you. So, all in favor, we're in a Zoom environment, so why don't we, we are all here. There was no one on Zoom who was a voting member, so all in favor of sending this letter of comments to the ZBA, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? All right, we are done with this application for now, for site plan review. To the applicant, we wish you well. This is I know this is a town sponsored project and is much needed, so please, as expeditious as you can move it along. Good luck.
Thank you all.
Great, thank you all.
Thanks for your time.
Appreciate all your comments and your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.
For the committee, we do have approval of minutes of the site plan review committee meeting of April 1st. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. You don't get out of here until this is done. If any additions or corrections? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Abstaining?
1, aye.
We got, Karen, looks like we have 4 out of 7. We have three abstentions, a 4-0-3 vote.
All three,
And Rich.
Yeah.
so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4.
Three abstentions.
3 abstention. I'm part of the abstention.
All right, 4-0-3.
Davis,
Perfect.
Todd, and I are abstention. Everyone else is in favor.
With that, we have completed our agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So
So
moved.
moved.
All in favor? Thank you very much.